Yeah. Jigga Man. Timberlake.
Hi,
Leon.
just a short video to
Nah.
explain how I'm going to teach this unit of work and what you will need to do as a student in order to be successful. So the approach I'm going to take for this unit is called the flipped classroom approach, and it's a fairly new idea amongst teachers, including myself. This is my first time. So you guys are basically going to be my guinea pigs. Hooray. So in the past, when I've taught a class, I've generally taught by explaining the new concepts and the new ideas in class, maybe even getting my students to take some notes, and usually this takes up most of my time in class, particularly if the concept I'm trying to teach is complicated. So it means that there's very little time in class for students to actually attempt the exercise themselves, and usually they end up taking it home and doing it for homework instead. So this can often be quite hard for my students because it means that if they get stuck on the homework, then they have to wait until next time in order to be able to get some teacher assistance. So the flipped classroom approach takes this idea of teaching and does the reverse instead, which is why we call it flipped basically. We're sort of taking what we normally do in teaching and turning it on its head like that. So the idea of the flipped classroom is for homework the night before a lesson, you go and watch a video, much like this one, maybe even take some notes. And in that video, I will explain the new concepts and the new ideas that we want to introduce at that particular time in the course. Then you come to class the next day having watched the video, and in class we work on the exercises that do with the concepts that we looked at in the video the previous night. So this flipped approach is going to benefit you in a number of different ways as a student. So I talk too much in class. I know this. It's a bad habit. I've been doing it for 10 years, and I'm not as bad as I used to be, but I can't break it. So the idea with having these videos is it forces me to keep it short and simple. So that benefits you that way. B, you also get more time in class to work on exercise and even, gasp, possibly even do more than 4 pracs in a year of physics, which would be nice. And then C, if you're in class and I'm there and you're doing the exercises, then you have access to me and you can get assistance if you get stuck on anything or if it's just not making sense. So it's going to benefit you in a lot of different ways as a student. For me as a teacher, it actually involves a hell of a lot more work. So it doesn't benefit me as a teacher, but it's all about doing it for you guys and trying to make your experience in physics a little bit better, get better results. But here's the catch. It will only work if you always do your homework the night before and watch those videos before you come to class. If you don't watch the flip videos before a lesson, then you're going to come to the class not knowing anything about the exercise we're supposed to be doing in class. And if too many people are like that, then I'm just going to end up stopping that and teaching like a regular lesson, which is completely defeats the purpose of flipping the classroom in the first place. So, in order to make sure that you will do the right thing, I'm going to be hosting my videos on a website called Zaption. And the benefit of Zaption is it requires you, when you watch the video, to enter a name firstly, and then as you're watching the video, to respond to a series of questions. So I know, firstly, that you've watched the video, and secondly, that you're actually paying attention to it and engaging with the new ideas that are being covered. So I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to break to a quick little video I made of Zaption in action, and we'll see exactly how this flipped classroom thing is going to work for you guys. Alright, so the links to all these videos will be on our Class Physics Moodle page. So if you scroll down, you'll find the links. I'm adding to them as I upload more and more of these videos. The one we'll look at now is on refraction. So I've clicked that link and you'll see in a new window, we'll get this Zaption page here. Now the first thing you have to do, it'll be slightly different for you, don't worry about the Hans Gruber thing, is you need to enter in your name. So please make sure when you do that, you put in your full name and not some sort of made up name like, I don't know, Bieber fan for life or something like that. I need to know exactly who it is who's watching the video. Once you do that, the video will start playing. I suggest opening it up in the full screen like this. The resolution will not be great. The actual resolution on YouTube is much greater, but for whatever reason it plays through Zaption at a lower res. Now I'm speeding through this pretty quick. Obviously the real video won't be as fast as this. And you'll see as it plays, every now and then it will stop and it will prompt you to respond in some way. So either answer a question or add a comment or something. So here's our first one here. It's a multiple choice question. You have to read the question and then select the appropriate response. So that will happen every now and then. As you watch the video, it will stop from time to time and require you to respond in some way. That's my check to make sure you're actually watching the video and not just having it play in the background while you're doing something else. So here's another multiple choice one here. Again, read the question, choose the correct answer and respond, and get feedback. And in addition to that, every now and then you'll have what's called an open response, which is usually a question, but there won't be any one specific answer for that, so you won't get feedback in the same way that you got feedback when you did the multiple choice question. However, those responses you make will be sent back to me, so I'll be able to view them later before I come to class and get an idea of where you're at, whether you got the question right or not, and whether you might need extra assistance with that in class. So as you can see, this is quite a long video. I have to speed up quite dramatically. Again, another open response question. So you have to read the question and then respond with the correct answer in that box there, and that answer will be sent to me. And then finally, at the end of this video, we have just basically time to respond with what you learnt in the video, what you didn't understand, and any further questions you would like explained in class. Again, this is to feedback to me, so I have something to begin with when I start the lesson the next time. And don't. Okay, so there you have it. So now you've watched this introduction, what I would like you to do is go on to the first video, which is on the ray model of light and reflection, and try using Zaption in the same way that I just did in that video. The links to that video will be in the same place they'll be for all of these flipped classroom videos, which is on the Year 11 Physics class Moodle. So go there and get stuck in. Okay? See ya.